Welcome everybody. Well done for being the first people to arrive and to be really keen. You'll get the most out of your day today. So special welcome to the first people to come to this session. So my name's Deborah Gill. I'm a professor of medicine here and I'm the Vice President Education and Students. So all of you people are my responsibility and I'm going to be ably assisted by Johnny here today. So Johnny, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name's Johnny. I'm a student here. I'm in my third year, so just finished actually my degree. And my job in this sort of presentation is to give you the student insight, the student version, what it's like to live here and study here.
Yeah. So what we're going to do hopefully is give you a brief overview and try and touch on the things that we think you will find important. And we've based that on things that people have told us in previous years about the really important things they want to find out before they start walking around today. So I've gone the wrong way already, look, there we go. Okay, so let's get started. So tell you a little bit about our history. So we've got 160 years of history. We started in very, very humble beginnings on the Hartley Institute, which is right down by the waterfront 160 years ago. We moved to this site in 1914. And you don't need to be historians amongst you to realise that 6 weeks later we were closed down for the beginning of the First World War. And this became a war hospital for the entirety of the First World War. And then in 1918 we began to admit our students in earnest. And just to give you a sense of scale over those years since 1918, the two buildings that make up the historic front of the Hartley Library were all of the teaching and laboratory spaces. So when you look around the campus, you'll see the enormous things that have happened over that time. So we've grown in size and we've grown in ambition. We were a founding member of the Russell Group in the 1990s. And now you see where we are today, a big multi-faculty, dynamic university over a number of campuses. So just thinking about what it is that draws people to universities. And I did this with my son not all that long ago. My son's finished university. I'll be going to his graduation this year, not here, but overseas. But what draws you to university? It's all kinds of things. But lots of the things people think about is what is the status of the university that I'm going to? Now, you will have looked this up beforehand, so you don't need to tell me very much. I tell you very much about where we stand in these rankings. We're pretty well placed in national and international world rankings. And thinking about subject level might be the most important thing for you. So it's all very well knowing that we're, I don't know, sixth in the UK or 13th or whatever it is. But what is it like at subject level? So just to have a quick look before I came in today. So 6 of our subjects are in the top 50 worldwide. So it's in the top 50 places across the entire world to study. And 16 of our subjects are in the top 10 across the UK. So even if you drill down to subject level, it's really, really important. What I think is also important is that the reason why we're so good is our people. And that's all of our people, our staff, but also our students. They bring us to the centre of the really important conversations that are going on in the world and tackling some of the really important problems. But also there's something unique about this university, and everyone will tell you there's something unique about their university, but there is something unique which is called the triple helix, and you will see it in action today. So one of the things that all Russell Group universities will tell you is that they're research-based, and we are proudly research-based. Research informs our practice, it informs our teaching, it informs what we teach. It's a really important part of who we are. But equally important is our ability to transfer that knowledge out into the world. And so when you look at us in rankings that look at things like knowledge exchange and enterprise, we're right there at the very top. And that's a really important part of how we get into the centre of these conversations about food security, about climate change, about green energy. It's because we take that research and we take it out into the world. And importantly, our most important vehicles for taking it out in the world are our students and the student enterprise and the student knowledge exchange that becomes part of that. So the other thing that drives people to think about a place is what kind of facilities does it have? You know, is this a place where I can do something really extraordinary, or is it just a series of classrooms and library buildings? Well, I would argue that it is quite extraordinary, and it's that innovation and knowledge exchange which makes it so extraordinary, the kinds of facilities that we have. So have a look around today. You've got plenty of time. You go to a world-class performance space like the Turner Sims. You go to an anechoic chamber, which is right at the front of our research work on quieter engines. We've got one of the world's biggest wind tunnels, We've got a authentic trading floor, which has really up-to-date and huge sources of data, real financial data that our students use as part of their learning. So go around and have a look at all of our campuses. Johnny will tell you a little bit more about the range of campuses we have and the range of facilities we have in those places. But do make sure that you have a think about that and think about how you might learn in those spaces. So sometimes those spaces are entirely kept for our research stars. Not at Southampton. Our students are right in there. They're right in there making use of this. So a good example of that is our research vessel Callista. So if anyone makes it down to the waterfront today, and I suggest you do, you'll see a big research vessel parked up there called the Callista. That's our research vessel. Our students take it out, they navigate it, they take it out to collect the samples, they collect the samples, they come back and they analyse them. You'll also see Boaty McBoatface, one of our submarines. But maybe you probably won't see that today unless you're going underwater. So tell you a little bit about the kinds of investment we have on the campus as well, because again, people think, is this a campus and a university that's going somewhere, or is this a university that's shrinking somewhat? So I always think that when I was looking around universities for my son, the sign of a university that's thriving is it's got some building sites on it. It should be constantly having building sites because you should constantly be renewing the facilities that we have. So we've invested millions in the last few years in our facilities, and we've got a plan in the next few years to invest another 300 million. You're sitting in one of our most recent investments, the Centenary building, which was built as part of our centenary celebrations. But you'll also see a big building site, which is called the Jubilee Sports Centre extension. So we've doubled the size of our sports facilities. And if you choose to come to us, that will be up and ready for you by the time you arrive, as will our new facilities and our new site of the business school over on the Boulderwood campus. So lots and lots of investment, lots and lots of building going on around. Not too noisy, but it's a sign of a university that's thriving. So let me tell you also about the education here, because that's also a really important part of what it is that you want to understand about what it's like here. So our focus is on your successful future. So that's what we're interested in. How will you go out and make a difference in the world? How will you thrive? How will you be employable? So we have a big part of our work which focuses on these successful futures. So for example, we have 350 programs. More than half of them are accredited with a professional body. 1 in 4 of our students do a program that's either got a year abroad, a year in industry, a significant industry placement. So our students really are thinking about their futures all the way through. That doesn't mean that you start in mechanical engineering and that's it. There's lots of opportunities to flex into particular pathways in your program, to take interdisciplinary modules, but importantly our extracurricular activities. So a lot of our student enterprise activity is built around the outside of the curriculum and gives you real opportunities to put into practice what's really important to you and to learn about that. Obviously, learning is not like it is at school. It is completely different. It is very independent, but we're one of the universities that's very face-to-face. So lots of universities were quite slow to return after the COVID break. That wasn't the case this university, and in the first opportunity, we were all back face-to-face. That doesn't mean we don't have all the flexible facilities that are available for you. So you'll see in this lecture theatre, it's set up for video capture, so our teaching is captured on video. We have a really extensive virtual learning environment which really blends seamlessly with the classroom. So what you do in the classroom is just one part of all of the learning activities you do on your own, with your peers, in groups, independent study. So it's an interesting, exciting place, and maybe Johnny or other student ambassadors who are around the place will give you a feel for what it's like to be a learner here. And I'm going to show you one more slide about things that I think are important when you choose your university. And I'll save my final thing for choosing your university till the very last slide. And the other thing is about sustainability. So sustainability is really important to us here, and it has to be important to you too. We want students who find this important. So have a look around what's going on here today. So we're right at the heart of some of the sustainability research, particularly around green marine and sustainability around our oceans. But in every part of what we do, sustainability is really important. We have it built into, you can map it across all of our modules. So all of our modules are mapped to sustainability goals, so you can work out your sustainability journey as you start to think about your choice modules. But also what you'll see is this is a really green campus. It really is. I can see a plastic bottle in front of me and I should put that away. But you won't see much plastic on campus. You'll find things like, normally when you go to a cafe, if you sit down you pay more, and you take away you pay less. It's the other way around here. If you bring your crockery with you or you sit down, it's cheaper. If you insist on taking something that's consumable, and that consumable won't be plastic, we'll charge you more. We live what we talk about. But also Southampton has signed as a city a green charter, and we're a really important part of that. So if you're interested in sustainability, this may be a place where you'd be really content to be a student and to make your mark on what's going on. So I'm going to hand over now to Johnny, because you've heard from somebody who's a teacher, who's in charge of the place, but actually let's hear from somebody who's just been through 4 years, 3 years?
3, yeah.
3 years with our university. So over to you.
That's right. Thank you, Deborah. So 3 years in now, and 2.5 years working like a student ambassador, giving advice to people, letting people ask questions, doing this sort of thing. And I've had lots and lots of questions. There's plenty going on. And this sort of next bit is what it's like, what questions I get asked. So it's trying to target these questions before you can ask them. Okay. So, campuses. Southampton here, we're a city, not a city campus. We are a campus university. Yeah. So the way that works is lots of things go on in one place. So we're not a city university by buildings dotted around all over the place. We're connected. I think that's really important sort of from the student side. It's a bit more of a community feel. You'll sort of bump into people, you'll bump into the person you just played tennis with the last night, and you'll bump into someone you met on a night out. It's very connected, and that's something I particularly enjoy. So we're going to start off where most of you will be studying, and that's where we are right now. It's sort of the heart of our university. It's called Highfield Campus. It's our main one, the largest one, and it's really nice because you've got the student union is here, the sports clubs, and all sort of social events go on here. As you see, I'm not sure you would have done much exploring today, but do get exploring. It's a lovely, lovely campus. Just up the road, we've got a 10-minute walk from here, Boulderwood campus, and that's home to our engineering students. The first time I went to Boulderwood campus, I thought it was something out of the Avengers. It was really cool. The buildings are huge. You can see a little bit on that photo there, but do visit, especially if you're engineering. I think we've also got the business school, new business building there, which is exciting for business students. Avenue campus, it's a really picturesque campus, Avenue. It's really nice. We've got 10 minutes in the other direction, so that's sort of down south, a little walk. Next to the Southampton Common, lovely green space. This is where our humanities students will be. Hospital, University Hospital campus, it's amazing that sort of is there for our medicine and nursing students. They've got the opportunity to have lecture theatres, and there's sort of research stuff going on there. So they've got campus, and that's sort of a bus journey away. We're quite well connected on buses. I think I'll talk about that a little bit more later. And the waterfront campus, Knox. So we mentioned the huge research vessel. Very lucky that the sort of earth and ocean science students have access to this. So that is right down at the south, Southampton, right on the edge, waterfront, clear in the name. City centre, so this is new, September. This is in the city. We have a new building, which is really cool to be right in the centre. We've got something going on there. It's a Sir James Matthews building. This building came into use to me the other day. I actually had my car MOT in the centre, and of course you can't get back without the car. So I went and did some studying in the city centre in the Sir James Matthews building. Lovely study spaces, huge lecture theatres. That's a nice new building we've got. And then Winchester. So we've got Winchester School of Art. This is for sort of arts programs, game designs, fashion, that sort of thing. I'll talk about Winchester a little more shortly, so I'll leave that one there. Clubs and societies.
We've got one more campus that wasn't on the slides.
Oh, that's true. That is true. we do have the Malaysian campus.
Yes.
Do you have anything to say about the Malaysian campus?
Just you can't fit it on this particular picture for scale. But yeah, we have about 300-400 students studying in our Malaysian campus, and a really interesting exchange program around that.
Well remembered. I don't go there much personally. So. Clubs and societies. I'm going to give you guys a second to take in all of these. There's so much. So I think you get the idea. There's a lot going on here at this university. There is something for absolutely everyone. And even if something you don't see, you can make the society or club yourself. I know everyone's getting excited there. Lots of whispering. It might be the Zumba or the ballet, I don't know. So personally, I've got very involved with tennis. I've been involved with tennis sort of my whole life. So it's nice to put that to use, get involved in the social scene as well. For me, I think clubs and society is one of the biggest parts of my uni experience. Lots of friends made there. And you just got to try something new, get involved. So for me, I tried out a new sport, jiu-jitsu, martial art. We got a new martial arts room. And it's really fun. And the social scene is so much more than just a sport here. You get involved, you get doing the sport, and then you get to have fun, go out with people. And it's, I think, the best way to get involved here. Just try out new things, do sports you like. Now, sports, as I mentioned, lots of sports going on. We are quite big on sports, and there is every sport I'm sure you know about. We've got a new sports facility opening up just next to Jubilee, so you can have a little look today. I'm very jealous that you guys get access to this new sports facility. I think there's like speed climbing walls going on. There's a new techno gym, I think it's called. There's so much, and there's a lot of investment. I think that 40 million figure probably says it all. So I'm jealous that you guys, if you come here, you get to use those facilities. So community, I think that's an important part about everyone. As I mentioned, clubs and societies is such a great way to get involved and make friends. Such a diverse group. We've got 25,000 students and about 250,000 alumni. Such like a vast network that you have access to. When you join, I know people are worried about when they join university, but here at Southampton, you really get involved with like Freshers Week. I think it's called Freshers Fortnight now, so you have 2 weeks of freshers and meeting people. You have halls inductions, so there's like little halls events going on. So you move into a hall, everyone will get invited to like a little event, and you get to socialise with people, make friends, know who you're living with, know who's the noisy person next door maybe, you find that out. Yeah, the student union is really good at also organising events, so those are the sort of people who do the Freshers Fortnight.
Brilliant. So I think I'm going to do the next couple of slides, but I'll let Johnny hold on to the clicker. So one thing's really important is that every student needs support at some time while they're here with us at university. Some students will have special support needs, but other students will just need support in finding their way, dealing with loneliness, dealing with things that come along. And one of the things that's really unique about this organisation is a commitment to a 24/7, 365-day a year student hub service. We're probably sector leading in having 24/7 mental health support available. One of the buildings you'll see on University Road you come in is the student hub, and that is a building that is always open. I live very close to the campus, and I've walked through here at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's always somebody there, and that's a really important part of the support that we offer our students. So our hub is a really vibrant place, and our hub, I've moved into a big hut, a big tent in the middle of campus today called the Student Life Hub. So go and visit them there, find out a bit about general support, but also if you think you've got specific support needs that you want to really understand how they'll be supported, go and speak to those people, go and get a sense of what that will be like. But there are some really other interesting support things that come out of that hub. So huge range of specialist services, our wellbeing service, which is proactive rather than reactive. But also some of you, if you're really smart at looking around campus, you'll see things like the safety bus. So the safety bus is a Susu thing run together with our student hub service, which is just a safety net. If you're out in the city and you're a little bit worse for wear, or you've stayed in the library till 3 o'clock in the morning, our safety bus will see you home, and that runs all the way through the night, every night. So really important. We take this really seriously. It's an important part. We need our students to feel safe and well to thrive. I've got one more slide before I hand back to Johnny, and that's really about money. So money is becoming more and more tricky for students. Students find it difficult sometimes to find their way financially. There's really good opportunities for work here in Southampton. You can imagine 2 or 3 cruise ships coming in every weekend. There's a hell of a lot of work here. But there's also lots of student-focused jobs that you can do here on the campus, being student ambassadors, being champions in some other way. We have a lot of money put into the support services. I think I wrote a number down before I came here. So where's the number I wrote? Can't remember. But we've increased our cost of living fund to £1 million this year. So this is money that we help our students with when they run into financial difficulties. It's a sad state of affairs, but Susu run a food bank. And there's free food available for all. There's also a feed a flat process where you can go in and collect some bulk stuff and feed a group of people. So we've got those sorts of facilities on campus, but also those kinds of financial advice, financial support things. For students who come from more disadvantaged backgrounds, we have something called Ignite Your Success, which is an entire wraparound process which goes way beyond those normal financial support. So you want to do a year studying abroad and you're part of Ignite Your Success. We'll support that. You want to do an internship and it's unfunded. We'll support that. You want to work with a charity over the summer rather than do a paid job. We'll support that. So we really understand that financial well-being is part of overall well-being. But let me hand you back to Johnny for some slightly less serious stuff, talking about our cities.
City, that's right. Southampton. People ask me why Southampton. People like asking that question. One thing I always go back to is it does a lot of things really well. We have a lovely city centre, we've got a lovely campus, we have the water, we're by the coast, we've got the National Forest. There's just a lot going for it, on top of the other million reasons that Deborah said at the start. It does a lot really well. As you can see on the screen, there's like marathons going on, we've got West Quay, I'm sure you've all been to West Quay. If not, it's probably a good place to visit today, right in our centre. Yeah, great culture. Winchester, I said I'd talk about this one again. Winchester is close to us. We've got a bus that actually goes Southampton to Winchester straight from campus. And Winchester is such a lovely city, very historical city, huge cathedral, green spaces, and we do have a campus there. So even if you're a Southampton Highfield student, you can go and visit there and study in their library. Something really nice that I don't think many other unis can say. They can pop down to Winchester and study in the greenery.
Brilliant. So telling you a little bit about arts and culture, that's on the campus, but it's also in the city. So we were in the final 3 for the City of Culture. We didn't win this year, but boy oh boy did we put a lot of work into that, and Southampton was right, University was right in the heart of that. So you'll feel the cultural vibe in our city as well as on our campus. Because you're here early, you've got a chance to go down to the city centre campus. Perfectly reasonable thing for you to do. Buses going straight from the interchange, completely free if you've got a ticket for today. Go down to our city centre campus. Right in front of it there's a festival today called What Next Southampton. It's an arts, music and creativity celebration for our young people. So it'll be really buzzing down in the city centre. And that's right next to our gallery, which is part of our university, but also things like the Mayflower Theatre, which is a big West End style theatre downtown. So have a look, check it out. Just a word about accommodation, if I can go to the next slide. So the other thing you should do today is have a look at some accommodation. So we've got tours again on our buses to the Wessex Lane. We can't open all of our accommodation because our students are still living in it. But in Wessex Lane, we've got some chance for you to go and see that. And we've got accommodation that suits every kind of student and every kind of budget, ranging from a room in a shared flat with shared facilities right the way up to studio flats. But also we cater for different groups of students. So we've got single sex, LGBT plus friendly, quiet, alcohol free. So, you know, just have a think about how you might want to choose your accommodation. So where did you stay, Johnny, when you were here, when you were in halls?
Good question. So I stayed in Glen Eyre. Glen Eyre is our closest halls. I think it's about a 10-minute walk. You can do it in 5 if you're running late for your 9 a.m. I really enjoyed it. I had an ensuite there, and it was sort of a very lovely sort of community. There's lots of students there. I think it certainly was the biggest when I was there. I think it probably is still. Lots of greenery as well, lovely in like the summer. We did barbecues there. It's a great atmosphere.
And if you're going down to look at Wessex Lane, look at our sports facilities. Our sports facilities are right next to Wessex Lane. So some of our more sporting, active students choose the halls that are nearest the sports grounds, or those involved in boating are closest to the water, for example. But there's one other thing I wanted to tell people, and this is a bit of a boast, a Southampton boast. So we have an accommodation guarantee. If you meet the conditions of your offer and you submit a request for accommodation by the deadline, we have never failed our accommodation guarantee. Now, not many universities can say that. We will guarantee you accommodation. The other important thing is this is a city of 35,000 students. And so the private rental situation when you move out of halls is really buzzing. Where did you live privately?
Yep, so I live just behind the library actually. You can tell
Very studious.
I like living near campus. Yeah, it's right behind the library, about a 4-minute walk. There's plenty of private accommodation going on as well.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've both got our final things to say, or our final kind of bits of advice. So Johnny, your advice first.
My advice, this is my 5 pieces. First off, get a rail card. So you're in Southampton, but we will admit sometimes you need to go home. So rail card is very useful, keeps the prices reasonable on the train. Very good connections here. We've got Airport Parkway, just next to the airport and sort of one of the halls of residence and our sports ground. Second off, get involved. As I mentioned, the clubs and societies, it was one of the best things I did, get involved. I got involved with all sorts, tennis, jiu-jitsu, the academic societies as well. Get involved, you'll meet people that way. You don't need to show up again if you don't enjoy your Zumba lesson, I don't know. Keep in touch with Pat. Pat's useful so that you get a personal academic tutor. They're assigned to you right at the start and they go with you all the way through. So these guys are there, they're like little contact, they're your way in. You have a Pat, you have a problem, talk to them, they'll be able to direct you or help you directly. Number 4, talk to people outside your class. This is important. You don't want to be stuck in your sort of class friends. You need to reach out, do sports people, in the halls people. Don't be afraid to sort of reach out. But also, course friends are also very useful. Doing assignments and stuff. Collaboration is always good. SUSU are our students' union, who you heard us mention a few times this talk. They're really good. They have plenty of free stuff. They I think currently have a partnership with Domino's, so there's always pizza going. So that keeps me happy. Yeah,
okay.
There you go.
So you'll be pleased to know I don't have 5 things, I have 3 things. So I said I'd go back to what it is that attracts you about university. The first thing is feeling like this could be the place for you. That's really important. So ask. Be annoying today. Anyone who's wearing an ambassador t-shirt has been paid to be here today. So ask them, bother them. Ask them what subject, where they went to halls, what clubs and societies they were in. Ask. Ask about the modules, the assessments, the teaching methods. Go and visit the spaces where you might be learning. That's really important. But actually, the last 2 things I want to tell you about are about the feel of the place. My son chose his university because of the bed in the hall of residence room he looked at. That's what he said was the reason he was going there. But it was because of the feel of the place. He liked the city, he liked the feel of the campus. But actually he could sit in a room like this and he could say, I could be happy here. I could thrive here. I could be my most successful here. So that's your most important decision today, is do you feel like you could be your very best here? And if you could, we would be delighted to welcome you to our community. So thank you for coming. Make the most of today. Use the free buses. Go all over the place. Get down to the festival in town. You're here so early, go down to the Redjet ferry terminal and go over to the Isle of Wight and have some fish and chips. You can do everything today. It's a beautiful sunny city, but really nice to see you all. We'll see you about campus.